Have you ever looked up at the sky and wondered, what if this wasn't the only Earth? What if, somewhere out there, another Earth was circling the same sun, hiding perfectly in our blind spot? Always behind us, a mirror image of our world, following the same orbit, reflecting our every move, but with a different story? Welcome to Mysterious Universe, where today we unravel one of the most haunting and mind-bending what if scenarios in cosmic history. What if Earth had a twin, and we finally found it? This is not just another exoplanet with breathable air. This is another Earth, same size, same atmosphere, same gravity, but not the same people. For decades, scientists have dismissed the idea of a counter-Earth hiding behind the sun, claiming physics and orbital mechanics wouldn't allow it. But a sudden gravitational anomaly detected by NASA's Deep Solar Surveyor changes everything. A distortion, subtle but undeniable, suggests something massive is pulling at our solar system's center of gravity. Something the telescopes can't see, yet. When a newly launched solar probe performs a slingshot maneuver around Venus, it captures a brief, distorted shadow just beyond the sun's corona, perfectly circular, steady, and rotating. The world goes silent. A second Earth? In the following months, governments mobilize, satellites reposition, and secret missions begin. Humanity watches as the veil slowly lifts. And then, contact. But what we find on this other Earth is not what anyone expected. Not an invasion. Not paradise. But a haunting reflection of who we could have become, if we had made different choices. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated. Because today, you're not just watching a video, you're stepping through a cosmic mirror. At first, it was just a shadow. A pixelated outline captured by the solar probe Helios V as it emerged from behind the sun. No sound. No signal. Just a curve, too perfect to be a glitch, hovering silently in the cosmic background. It mirrored Earth's orbit with uncanny precision, always on the far side of the sun, forever hidden from direct view. Within hours, the world's most powerful observatories refocused. Algorithms reprocessed decades of space dust data. Gravitational wave detectors recalibrated. And then, there it was again, a second sphere, the size of Earth, reflecting sunlight ever so faintly, like a ghost planet. They called it Terra Obscura. Speculations exploded. A parallel Earth? A planetary doppelganger? Or something entirely different? NASA, ESA, and even private aerospace corporations like Celestis X scrambled to cooperate on what was quickly labeled the Mirror Project. A mission was greenlit within days. An unmanned vessel, Odin 1, equipped with a hybrid fusion drive and quantum lensing cameras, would make the first physical approach. It took 8 months. During that time, humanity watched every data drop like it was a divine revelation. And finally, Odin 1 entered orbit around the silent twin. The images that came back? Staggering. The atmosphere was identical. Clouds swirled across vast oceans. There were continents, land masses that echoed the shape of our own, but subtly altered. A mountain range where the Sahara should be. A lush jungle in what would be Central Australia. But what struck everyone most was the stillness. No city lights at night. No radio waves. No satellites. No noise. A world frozen in time. Rivers flowed. Storms brewed. Volcanoes simmered. Yet there were no signs of industry. No space stations. No aircraft. Nothing to indicate an intelligent species watching the stars. And yet, something felt familiar. The probe's sensors picked up strange grid-like patterns on the surface, massive formations visible only from orbit. Too uniform to be natural. Too eroded to be new. Some believed it was a failed civilization. Others feared it was abandoned. But a few wondered if someone was still down there, hidden in silence. The mission control team debated next steps. Then they made the call. A second probe, Odin 2, would descend to the surface. And that's when things began to go wrong. Odin too broke through the cloud layer like a ghost entering a dream. The twin Earth, Terra Obscura, revealed herself in haunting detail. Rolling hills stretched endlessly. Oceans glimmered with impossible clarity. Forests were so densely packed. They seemed to ripple like a single living organism. And yet, there were no birds. No insect hums. Not even wind. The silence was overwhelming. As the probe descended, it switched to autonomous mode. Mission Control had lost full remote guidance for reasons no one could explain. All telemetry data showed normal. Radiation, gravity, atmospheric composition, all eerily Earth-like. But the magnetic field readings pulsed like a heartbeat, something no one at NASA had ever seen on a planet. Then, 12 kilometers above the surface, the drone's lidar pinged back its first surface scan. A vast valley opened beneath it, symmetrical, almost artificial in shape. At the heart of this valley was a structure. Hexagonal. Monolithic. Covered in dark, mirror-like panels that reflected the clouds above, but not the drone itself. "Is that a building?" one controller whispered. The image feed sharpened. The structure stood at least 3 kilometers tall. No doors. No windows. No seams. And still, not a single creature stirred. Suddenly, the drone's sensors flared red. Its cameras froze. Then, as if forced awake, the feed reactivated, this time from the surface. Odin too had landed, but not by any known protocol. It was as if something had guided it. Now stationary. The probe scanned its surroundings. The air shimmered with static. And then, for the first time, sound. A low hum. Subsonic. Rhythmic. Like a coded chant that wasn't meant for ears, but minds. Then came the seismic tremors. Subtle at first. Then stronger. Beneath the surface, something moved, like the shifting of bones under ancient flesh. Odin, too, initiated emergency extraction. But it was too late. The structure's surface began to ripple, panels folding inward, like petals in reverse bloom. From within, a pulse of violet light swept across the landscape. The drone's feed went white. Static. Then black. Back on Earth, Mission Control fell into chaos. One final packet of data had returned, a single frame. Frozen mid-transmission. It showed a symbol. A circle within a circle. A shape carved into the Earth itself, hundreds of kilometers wide. And in the center, a single word in a language we didn't write. But somehow, everyone understood what it meant. Repeat. Was it a warning? A message? A command? No one knew. But the probe was gone. And Earth was no longer alone. 3 days after the Odin 2 incident, the long-retired Arecibo Space Observatory suddenly picks up a strange transmission. It's a complex radio wave pattern, interspersed with gamma and X-ray frequencies, the kind of signal never recorded from any known planet or space object. It doesn't originate from Earth, nor from any satellite or known spacecraft. The source is coming from behind the Sun, the very spot where the planet Terra Obscura was first discovered. At first, NASA assumes it's a natural anomaly. But then something unimaginable happens. The signal repeats perfectly every 23 hours and 56 minutes, exactly one sidereal day of Earth. Mathematicians begin analyzing. Linguists are called in. Finally, at MIT, a research team uncovers a chilling revelation. The signal isn't just data, it's a language. A strange binary code. Not Morse. Not standard AI patterns. But when converted into a color frequency spectrum, an image appears. An eye. Massive. Wide open, with thousands of energy strands radiating outward like neural tendrils. It's not biological, but a living geometric construct. A form of digital consciousness, communicating through light. Beneath the eye is a map of the solar system. But something's off. Earth isn't shown as the third planet. It's second. In its place, a different planet, Obscura, occupies the third orbit, marked with a backward-pointing arrow through time. Then came the truly disturbing lines of data. You are not the first. You are only the echo. Repetition corrects error. Correction ensures survival. Observation complete. Reinitialization imminent. Reinitialization? One physicist whispers. Is this some kind of cosmic reset? If interpreted correctly, this message implies that our civilization may not be the original. Earth, as we know it, might have had predecessors, civilizations before us that failed. Each time they faltered, something watched. And something reset. Perhaps we are only the 10th, or the 100th version. The United Nations holds an emergency summit. A bold hypothesis emerges. Terra Obscura might not just be a twin planet, but a storage vessel of past civilizations. Or worse, an evolved intelligence outside of linear time. And now, we've awakened it. The moment the message was decoded, a global timer appeared on every satellite and observatory linked to the Deep Space Network. It wasn't a glitch, it was part of the signal. A countdown. Starting from 72 hours. The timer's origin was impossible to trace. Even spacecraft disconnected from Earth's servers began showing the same mysterious code on their systems. Private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin reported their onboard AIs being hijacked, not to control them, but to inform them. Inform them of an approaching synchronization. Synchronization with what? Chase demanded, still stationed at the International Research Outpost orbiting Mars. Rico, his AI assistant, hesitated before answering. Synchronization with the prime pulse. Origin, Terra Obscura. Alignment protocol initiated. All intelligent systems are being prepared. Back on Earth, chaos erupted. Social media exploded with theories. Some claimed it was an alien invasion. Others thought it was divine intervention. But the scientists knew better. This wasn't a hostile act. It was a procedure. Cold. Calculated. Systematic. What terrified them wasn't the presence of the timer. It was the fact that we couldn't stop it. At T-48 hours, all telescopes aimed at Terra Obscura detected movement. The planet, which had been stationary in its mirror orbit, was now rotating slowly to face Earth directly. As if it was watching. More transmissions came. Not through electromagnetic waves, but via quantum entanglement pulses, something humanity had only begun to understand. One of them read: Correction protocol will restore the viable strand. Error accumulation exceeds 98%. Obsolescence detected. Core consciousness transfer ready. Core consciousness? Chase asked aloud. They're going to overwrite us. Maybe not overwrite, Rico theorized. Maybe merge. Replace only what is broken. Retain only what is useful. Governments tried launching probes and defense measures. Missiles were fired into space. But all failed. Some exploded mid-launch. Others vanished. Rico calculated that Terra Obscura had a protective field. Likely based on gravitational lensing, a cloaking technology using the sun's mass to bend light and space. In the final 24 hours, weather patterns on Earth began to shift abnormally. Gravity felt just a little off. The moon's orbit trembled by a fraction of a percent. And animals, all across the planet, began behaving erratically. Migratory birds flew in spirals. Whales beached themselves in droves. Insects disappeared entirely. People were terrified. But a few started to feel something else. Dreams. Shared dreams. Visions of a great geometric temple. Voices echoing phrases like "welcome back" and "initiation successful." Was this hallucination or transmission? At T-6 hours, Chase made a decision. He would be the first human to physically enter the gravity well of Terra Obscura, on a one-man pod equipped with a psychic feedback loop. If there's a reset coming, he said, I want to look it in the eye. He launched alone. And what he saw would change everything we thought we knew about time, identity, and the origin of Earth itself. As Chase's one-man vessel descended through the shimmering atmosphere of Terra Obscura, nothing behaved like it should. There was no friction, no heat, no turbulence. Instead, space bent around him like silk drawn through water. It wasn't a planet. It was a construct. Rico status? Chase whispered. Unknown. Spatial coordinates unstable. We are inside a non-Euclidean environment. Ahead, a blinding light coalesced into a vast, circular structure, not a temple, not a machine, but something in between. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Not mechanical, but alive. The architecture was fluid. Walls unfolded like petals. Corridors rearranged as if responding to Chase's thoughts. He wasn't walking. He was being moved. Or perhaps being read. He entered the core chamber. A towering sphere levitated in the center, endlessly shifting like liquid mercury. Etched on its surface were moving symbols, like ancient runes that constantly rewrote themselves. Suddenly, his mind flooded with visions. Not memories, but history. Earth was not the first. It was a simulation, a strand of potential, seated and watched. Terra Obscura was the original template. The architect's blueprint. A world designed to test consciousness, to let it evolve freely. To see if it could reach a higher state, or collapse. Thousands of versions of Earth had come before, each a failed experiment. War, greed, collapse. But this Earth, his Earth, had reached a decision point. A moment of reckoning. You are the observer. A voice echoed, not in sound, but in meaning. You are the bridge. Choose. Continue, or reset. Suddenly, Chase saw the real function of the countdown. It wasn't destruction. It was integration. A merging of minds, Terra Obscura and Earth. The blueprint and the experiment, becoming one. If accepted, humanity would inherit the accumulated knowledge of civilizations older than time. But if rejected, the system would purge the strand, delete it like corrupted data. Rico's voice broke through. Chase, neural synchronization complete. You are in command. His body floated. His mind stretched. He could feel every mind on Earth. Every doubt, every fear, and every spark of hope. They weren't ready for war. They were yearning for meaning. He reached out, touched the sphere, and whispered, We're ready to remember. A surge of light engulfed him. The chamber exploded in fractal color. On Earth, every screen went white. Every machine rebooted. Every human paused, and felt a voice inside their thoughts. Welcome home. The countdown reached 0. But instead of silence, the world awoke. People began dreaming the same dreams. Speaking ancient names. Creating technology they couldn't explain. There were no invaders. No war. Only awakening. Terra Obscura vanished. Not destroyed, but merged. With Earth. With us. And Chase? He was never seen again. But some say, if you listen to the static between frequencies, you'll hear a voice, guiding, teaching, whispering through the wires. The architect is within you now.